This is one of the darkest, yet most truthful ironies in economic history. Disasters can kill millions, but they almost never kill opportunity. The Black Death is one of the clearest examples of this. Between 1347 and 1351, the plague tore through Europe and North Africa with an unprecedented speed and brutality. Cities were erased from the map. Entire families vanished. Nearly half of Europe's population disappeared. People died, order collapsed, and the world seemed as if it were ending. But beneath this horrific picture, something else was happening. Something almost no one noticed at the time. Wealth was changing hands, on a scale that makes today's crises look almost insignificant. As old elites collapsed one by one, new fortunes emerged. And some of the most powerful families in European history were born directly out of this catastrophe. I know it sounds uncomfortable. Saying that some families grew richer during a period when tens of millions died feels almost shameful. But this is exactly how economic history works. When a system collapses, someone always fills the vacuum. The Black Death didn't just damage the system, it shattered it. The plague didn't only kill peasants or workers, it killed heirs. It wiped out landowners. It erased banking partners. It extinguished noble bloodlines that had survived for centuries. And when old owners of wealth disappeared, new ones stepped onto the stage, because chaos makes ambition inevitable. This is the true face of monetary history, where money, power, and opportunity intertwine, and where nothing is ever as simple as it seems. To understand who became wealthy during the Black Death, you have to imagine Europe at its weakest moment. Ships docking in the port of Genoa filled with corpses. Church bells falling silent because no one was left to ring them. Towns emptying overnight. This is usually where documentaries stop. But this is exactly where our story begins. Because the effects of the plague were not temporary. They were permanent, structural. The plague didn't just kill people, it killed hierarchy. Labor vanished and feudalism collapsed. Abandoned lands were left without owners. Trade networks disintegrated. Banks failed, leaving massive holes in the financial system. And every hole created new winners. The real question isn't, did people get rich? The real question is, who got rich and how? The answer lies in a place history books rarely focus on: inheritances, land transfers, quiet acquisitions, and the courage to act in a world where so many competitors were gone. Take Florence, for example. Toward the end of the 14th century, as waves of plague kept returning, Florence became a city of survivors. Rival banks had collapsed, powerful families had lost their heirs, and right at that moment, a very familiar name stepped onto the stage: Giovanni de' Medici. He wasn't a noble, he wasn't overwhelmingly powerful, but his timing was perfect. In 1397, with Florence's financial world in chaos, he founded the Medici Bank. The Bardi and Peruzzi families, once Europe's most powerful bankers, were now little more than shadows. Giovanni filled the gap. He began working with the papacy. He secured major contracts. There were almost no rivals left. Without the plague, the Medici family would likely have remained a successful but ordinary Florentine household. But because of it, they became the family that financed the Renaissance, produced popes, ruled Tuscany, and reshaped European history. It sounds strange, but even part of Michelangelo's career may indirectly trace back to the Black Death. The same pattern appeared in Milan. The Visconti family didn't just survive the plague, they exploited the vacuum it created. They absorbed lands left behind by noble families who died without heirs. Through marriages, timing, and opportunity, they rose quickly, and eventually, they founded the Duchy of Milan. A rise that normally would have taken centuries was completed in a single generation, thanks to the plague. England, meanwhile, told a different story. Families who weren't noble suddenly rose to wealth and influence. Families like the Pastons, they bought land cheaply. They exploited legal loopholes. They gained access to education, courts, and royal patronage. Over generations, they became power players. And when we look north, we see the Hanseatic League, a network of merchant cities that turned scarcity into profit. Grain, salt, timber, everything survivors could no longer produce. Prices rose and so did their fortunes. Then there were the winners no one talks about much, the church and monasteries. As people died, they donated land in exchange for salvation. Estates without heirs passed to the church, and quietly, the church became one of Europe's largest landowners. But perhaps the most interesting winners were ordinary people, the workers and peasants who survived. Labor became so scarce that wages rose. People could negotiate. Serfs gained freedom. Elites tried to stop it with laws but failed. In short, the Black Death didn't just destroy Europe, it reshaped it. And this story doesn't belong only to the Middle Ages. The same thing happened in the 2008 crisis. And during COVID, wealth didn't disappear, it changed hands. Disasters don't equalize. Disasters accelerate. They make the advantaged stronger. They lift those who are prepared. The Black Death reshuffled Europe's deck of cards, and it laid the foundations of the world we live in today. History doesn't repeat itself. But if you don't understand how money behaves during crises, you'll never understand how power is built. If this perspective opened a new window for you, hit subscribe. History holds the answers. I'll show you where to look.